Greetings everyone and welcome to a new first taste of the channel, where today we're going to be checking out Down with the Ship, the demo of Down with the Ship. And as it's a demo, that means you can pick this up for yourself if by the end of this video you like what you saw and you want to see a little bit more. The links will of course be in the video description below, just below those lovely buttons, which if you do make it to the end of the video I would appreciate it if you massage. But this game, what is it? Well, in a nutshell, this is what would happen if someone dared to ask the question, what if backpack battles, but in space with spaceships? Which, honestly, I think is a very reasonable question to ask. You can kind of already see a little bit of the backpack battles, like, DNA in here. As far as I'm aware, the games have no actual relation to one another. They just have a similar game loop. Now, we are going to be jumping into the game. We've got 3 different characters that we can choose from, though I believe only the first one is unlocked by default. The others will be available in the full version. We're going to be playing ranked today. I've had the opportunity to play a couple of matches and I very much enjoy what I saw, and so that's why we're here, so I can show it to you. Now, each of these captains have a different leaning. They lean into a certain style of play more than the others, but broadly speaking, you can build your ship in whatever way you want, and generally every style of play is viable for every captain, or at least so far as I have seen. We're going to be playing with Admiral Thorn, the first captain that you have available, and their special is every 6.75 seconds they gain some ammo, and we will increase a status of radar, and also projectiles gain a plus 20% critical hit lifelink, which I believe means that whenever, in fact, actually, if I hold down A, it should tell us there, whenever we actually manage to crit, we will gain 20% of the health back that we did as damage. I believe that's how that will work out. I guess we will see. But let's go ahead and jump into the game. It is always easier to show than to describe. Now, again, as this is a demo, you can pick this up and play for yourself. So if by the end of the video you decide you liked what you saw and you want to see more, then do consider checking out the links in the video description and just below those beautifully tempting buttons that you might be inclined to massage. But we are starting with a shop. We've got 1 free reroll and a couple of things over here. We've also got another crew member. Very much like backpack battles, a lot of devices have and items. Crew are very specifically not a device, they're crew. This is a weapon, this is a hull, and everything has that kind of categorization to some degree. Some of them will interact with things. For example, the chemist over here. Every 5.4 seconds, the non-crew item in the ahead of the chemist will charge 10% faster, and any weapons that are in that spot will gain a 25% chance to inflict 1 fire on hit. And this also gives our ship 15% fire resistance. Down here, we've got a lot of different things going on. Whereas in backpack battles, you've basically got stamina, and that is largely your resource if you're not including health, which you probably should. But here we've got ammo, fuel, and energy. And the more of them we have available, the better things work in various different ways. But some things require them to actually trigger. For example, our weapon here requires bullets to fire. Makes sense. So the fact that we will, generally speaking, gain more ammo over time is a good thing. This is our health. This is our armor over here. Thanks to our flight deck, we have, at the beginning of the game, gained 1 speed, I believe, and 1 repair. So every 2 seconds we'll restore 1 health for every repair we have, and speed, for every speed, enemy accuracy is reduced by 5%. The radar over here, for every radar, our projectiles gain 4% accuracy and crit chance. And in many cases, once you've achieved a certain amount, for example, going dark, when we get to 10 speed, we'll use all of it up and cloak for 4 seconds. With radar, once we get to 10 radar, we'll consume it all, and all of our weapons will charge by 35% and gain 50% true strike for 6 seconds. Critical hits will deal 200%, and I think that goes up as we gain more radar. But again, these things will naturally decrease. So, you know, you're never going to get absolutely staggering amounts of them because they're going to constantly be resetting. That said, we're not generating speed or repair, we just have it at the beginning. And if there is a crew in the spot behind the flight deck, then we gain Sorry, we gain a radar. That's where our radar is coming from there. But our captain will be gaining radar and ammo every turn. The ammo and fuel and electricity, they don't have like a set amount threshold where you'll consume the lot of them, or at least not by default. But they all affect things in different ways. Right then, we've got a fighter cockpit. If there is a person in the spot behind, you'll gain ammo. And much like the flight deck, this does give us speed and radar, which is kind of tempting. This will cost us 6 coins. I think we'll go with that, sure. And the nice thing about this is I can pop you, I believe, there. That qualifies for your interest. Let's just move these around just a little bit. If I pop that there, you're now engaged with that. There we go. Very nice indeed. And this can upgrade the slug cannon. Now, in many cases, you can merge items. So if you've got multiple of the same type, you can put them together. If we hold down shift, that'll show us the upgrade preview. There is an upper cap to how much upgraded something can be, and I haven't really spent the time yet to puzzle through whether it is always better to upgrade something or have multiple versions of a thing. I guess it would depend on your other buffs, I would imagine. But generally speaking, if something consumes a resource to fire, it's going to consume more as it gets more powerful. So it's not a free upgrade. You do have to weigh the pros and cons. The ion rifle here, every 2.7 seconds fires an ion. This item activates, increases the charge rate by 10%. Let's have a look. Ions remove 1 energy from the enemy ship. And for every energy, non-crew items charge 1% faster. So we would effectively be slowing down the enemy ship by having this weapon. So it might not be a bad choice. This one is currently on a sale. And this one, it gives us 1 speed for every crew member placed on top. I think we can possibly use that. Though, I would need another component to really make use of it. So I'm just going to grab that one for now. We're going to keep that one there. I can't have... Well, I suppose I might be able to. If I were to do something like this, pop you up there, you in here. Now, one of the interesting features of this game is that you don't, strictly speaking... Well, I won't be able to have that, unfortunately. You don't, strictly speaking, need to have your flight decks pointing a certain direction. You can have them pointing whichever direction you particularly want. In fact, I could do this, and that's absolutely valid. Okay, that might work for me, though as you notice, I can't then have this there, sadly. But let's just go ahead and re-roll and see if we can get another deck piece. Okay, we've got a couple. This one will give us some health and some energy. This one gives us 3 energy. How much did that one give us? That just gave us a lot of health, actually. So not a terrible choice, all things said and done. I think we could possibly afford to place that down here. I can build this up a little bit. I would prefer ultimately to have this make a little bit more sense for me. So something along these lines perhaps. Or, you know what? If I were to place this over here instead, we could have that behind it. Let's try and make the ship a little bit symmetrical. I know. There's no real need to, but I like it to be symmetrical. So that's the need. There we go. Now, I've not got you facing a component that I'm going to be able to use. Well, actually, I could just pop that one down there. Okay, then the symmetry is going to change around a little bit. There we go. And I could have that one there, covering that weapon. That would be fine. Now, do I really want this somewhere on the ship? I mean, what does it give me? It gives me a bit of extra hit points, so there's no real reason not to. So I'll pop that one there. I wouldn't mind picking up an engine, but right now I don't want to freeze anything, except that one is on sale. So, you know what? Sure, I'll freeze that one. An engine is just going to give us a constant trickle of speed, which would be quite nice. All right, I think the lack of symmetry bothers me a little bit, but we'll hopefully be able to symmetricize our ship moving forward. That is now a word. All right, then, we can slow things down, we can speed things up. Shots can absolutely miss. They have got much better economy than us. But I think we should be okay. We've managed to apply a bit of rust was applied there. We are healing. They are healing better. They also have a... I think this is a reload stat. Oh, firepower stat. For every firepower, your projectiles gain 6% damage. That's a bit rough. They are doing a lot more damage to me. But let's go ahead and speed things up a little bit. Now, there is a sudden death that will start to hurt us way more than them because they've got... yeah, there we are, the solar flare. They've got much, much better healing than us. Oh, never mind. Did we win that through applying... Oh, can I have a look at the combat logs? I might have just gotten really lucky with stacking fire from my chemist. Bullet hit for 6. Stunned the enemy ship for 0.12. Let's see. Solar flare. And I won. Okay, well, I'm kind of surprised because I generally... Oh, of course. Occasionally, there would have been lifelink happening. And I may have just been a little bit better on that one. All right, never mind. We did inflict some armor break, but they weren't really building up armor, so I don't think that would have really been helping us. And that was also getting removed by their janitor. But I am a little bit surprised by that win. Quite happy to accept it, though. Right, okay, so we can upgrade our flight tech, and doing so, if we hold down shift, will tell us what we'll gain. We'll gain a little bit of early speed and repair, but also get a bit more radar as well. So I think that might be a solid one for us to take. Sure, we'll grab that. I very much do want the ion drive though. However, this will cost a bit of energy and we are not currently producing any. That will be a problem later. Let's pop that in there though. But now we are losing a little bit. But this is going to gain a little bit of extra speed for us as we move forward. There is also a rocket thruster down here, which would also give us heat. For every heat, items charge 5% faster. That one would consume fuel rather than energy. It also gives us cold resistance, which is kind of nice, but not really what I'm looking for just yet. What I would like to do is try and fill up the hull a little bit. We've also got this over here. If your ship is hit by a projectile, there's a 35% chance to gain 2 armor. And you would also gain the plating. For every plating, the ship takes 5% less damage from projectiles. Well, I think we might take this. Projectiles do 25% less damage to armor. Sure. Let's go ahead and pop that one in there. That should be fairly solid. I'm going to go ahead and re-roll. We might see there's something's on a discount that I want to pick up. We have a pilot who will gain speed and radar. We've got a janitor available who every 6.08 seconds will restore 4 health and remove 1 random debuff and gives us a bit of poison or toxin resistance. We also have the fuel pump, which generates fuel. Might be strongly worth us picking up. And since that's on sale, I'm going to go ahead and lock that one in. We've got a couple of other options. This one is a bit more of a complicated one, depending on the position of any other device or crew member. In its 4 quadrants, you might generate different kinds of resources, so you might want to place that in certain areas. But I think we're only going to lock this one in. But let's have a quick look at this hull. Gain 5% rust resistance and 5% toxin resistance. We're not really going with a rust build, so I don't think we need that one. But it might be something for us to look at in the future. Do I want to pick up the janitor? I kind of want to pick up the janitor right now, if I'm perfectly honest. So let's go ahead and grab you. We're going to pop you in there, where that's going to give us a little bit more speed right from the get-go, and you don't really have to interact with anything, so that should be fine. All right, let's go. Got a little bit of debuff mitigation now. We can clean up the ship and indeed heal the ship on an ongoing basis, which is quite nice. Okay, we've already gained a little bit of armor there. Janitors seem like a really solid option, to be honest. We've already cloaked. Very nice indeed. We managed to build up quite a lot of speed there. However, we are now very quickly losing ammo, and we're about to run out of energy as well. Now, I'm not sure. Oh, we just managed to pull through there. Just managed to pull through there with the solar flare once again. Okay. Now, we very much need to set something up, but this is a special shop here. You can, these pop up every now and then. You can usually tell by the fact that we can't re-roll it. So we've got an ammo stockpile. Every 5.4 seconds, gain 2 ammo. Any weapons in the designated areas around it will have a 25% chance to split its shots. And then I believe military items will show up in the shop. Over here, we have a drain pump. Every 6.75 seconds, steal 5% of the enemy's health and inflict 1 toxin upon them. Poison rather, take 1 damage for every poison on the ship every 2 seconds. Then that would also make, I guess, plumbed items show up in the shop. Over here, we've got scrap metal plate. This will make forge items. I believe all of these are effectively like factions within the game. Gain a fair bit of armor. If 18 armor is lost, hurl a saw blade. Over here, we have a mining drill. This would make gem item show up in the shop. Every 4.5 seconds, fire a drill. This one requires fuel to fire rather than ammo. We have the crackling core, a very diverse pattern of supercharged nodes around it on this one. Whenever a highlighted item activates, there's a 7% chance to summon a lightning strike, and you would gain just a static amount of energy per item in those locations. And then the Titan core, very much the same. This one gains spikes though. Gain 5% health for every item in the highlighted areas. For me, it's probably the ammo stockpile or the drill. I think it's going to be the ammo stockpile though. Now the ammo stockpile would benefit greatly if I had more weapons. We've got a hull smasher missile. We've got an artillery cannon. We've got, these are like military items, it seems. But we've got this fuel pump, and I would not mind getting a bit of fuel. Let's pop that one in there. This one gains extra ammo. I could make it gain even more. That seems like a solid move there, to be honest. We've got a circuit board over here. Any item within its zone gains a little bit of extra damage. Wouldn't mind that. Got a weapons computer. Items charge 25% faster, and we would gain quite a lot of things if there's a crew member in the triangle location right behind it. So we'd have bio rounds. For every bio round, your projectiles gain 10% lifelink. Radar, firepower, that one seems like a very, very good choice. And if I place this here, we're automatically getting a benefit from the captain there. All right, that's pretty solid. Now, what I would love is if by some luck, we could get a weapon over here. Now, strictly speaking, I possibly could if I could get a bit of hull in that location. For now, I could pick up the circuit board, get a bit of extra charge on this, or I could just pick up the pilot. Honestly, if I picked up the pilot, we could have the pilot in this point over here. That would give us a little bit extra speed at the beginning of the game. So we would cloak very early on. And it would give us more speed and more radar moving forward. We've got plus 16% accuracy and crit chance right now, which is going to be especially nice considering we've got plus 20% critical hit lifelink. Firepower and plating. Neither one of these benefit from any kind of threshold activation. But I think we're going to pick you up, pop you in there for now. There we go. That is a whomping great amount of speed there. I am tempted to lock this in. That's an awful lot of things that would modify a single weapon moving forward. So I will lock it and we'll use our 1 free reroll. See what we can get. Okay, I very much want you. You would be perfect in that spot. There is a part of me that also wants to pick this up, as that would... This is just a flat upgrade at that point because it doesn't cost anything. So that would give me a good amount of extra fuel. Could also pick up the fighter cockpit. There's a lot of things here that I would like to lock, but I've already locked 2 things. I think when you're locking half the shop, you're denying yourself. I think it's best not to do that. And I've already chosen a couple of things that I think are really, really going to be useful. So we'll just stick with those, I think, for now. It is so tempting to lock loads of the shop in, but no. Okay, 2. Oh, we already saw a split. That's fantastic. Fair bit of misses going on. That is glorious. That early cloak definitely helped. But they are doing quite a lot of damage over there. Using a lot of ammo to do it, though. So it looks like they're probably going to start struggling to fire their weapon for a little while. In fact, yeah, it looks like a lot of their weapons weren't able to fire, but it really didn't matter. They managed to put us down fairly convincingly. Okay, first loss. We've got a couple of lives to spend on this, so it shouldn't be too bad. Ooh. This is an epic. Okay, a mercenary. Every 3.38, steal 1 ammo from the enemy ship. And gain a bio round. Okay, that is a little bit too tempting for me. I don't think we can comfortably say no to that. All right, well, the first thing we're going to do is going to lock that in. I think we're then going to shift that up, because that still gives me everything connecting to this. If we pop that one over there, perhaps, that still works the same way. I was going to pick you up. Well, we might still pick you up. We're running with a single weapon right now, which is kind of bonkers, if I'm honest. But sure. This one weapon is our everything at the moment. And we're going to upgrade it. There we go. I would prefer a better weapon if we're going to be rolling with just one. But okay. Now, I'm going to lock this in because I want a way of generating resources for power. And having this one, ooh, I would have to have that one in a very specific location to benefit from it, really. I can probably make that happen, though. If I were to move this down here and just shimmy that across, there's no particular reason to have it in this location specifically. Man, my ship, it does not look particularly nice right now. Now, one thing... Oh, never mind. My mercenary activates all items around them. Okay. Okay, that changes quite a lot, actually. Okay, well, I'm still going to need that down here. So, I guess we keep that there, but let me just position that correctly. That can go in here. And then this weapon is under the effect of so many different things. It's glorious. I wish there was a way that I could see all of the... Oh, is there a way? Oh, I can. There we go. Asking you shall receive. I can click on S and it'll show me all the buffs. So I'm getting +1 damage. Charge rate is increased by 20%. Plus 12% crit chance. 25% chance to inflict 1 burn on hit. Damage is increased by 20%. 25% split chance. 14% charge rate. 18% damage based on the amount of ammo that we have. Plus 16% accuracy and crit chance. And plus 6% damage based on the firepower. And we now have 20% projectile lifelink. That is kind of huge. Right, let's go ahead and re-roll. Now, I think we have to lock that in. We have to. However, look, I said I wasn't going to lock many things in at a time. And I did mean it. But things have changed. And I would very much like it to have some symmetry on this ship. I would really like to have symmetry on this ship. So I'm also going to lock this in. Don't at me. All right, you know and I know that symmetry is very important. Not that we are that symmetrical right now. I still need a certain something in these 2 spots. But we'll be 1 step closer to perfection. All right, let's begin the battle. But we definitely need to keep upgrading that weapon since it's pretty much the only one that I've got. Okay, nice split there. Okay, a lot of things going on. We've managed to cloak. Not getting enough of those splits. I would very much like to upgrade that. Oh, wow, we worked through them very quickly, even though they had a lot of heat there. Let's just have a quick look. Well, actually, let's have a look at the DPS list. Okay, I'm going to say that this is my ship. Okay, so the slug cannon healed us for 45, did 117 damage. These were the enemy items. Actually, that doesn't make the most sense. Okay, so damage. Oh, right, there we are. Don't care about damage taken. There we go. Don't worry about activation counts. I don't think that is necessary. I just want to see overall what was happening there. The slug cannon did an enormous amount of the work, like so much of the work. But let's have a look at the enemy ship now. Oh, that's very nice. I like that a lot. This slug cannon did a fraction of the damage that ours did. Even if we add all of their weapon systems together, they still did a lot less. This slug cannon was doing a bit of healing though. Okay, well that explains a lot of what went on there. Oh, an officer. Every 4.05 seconds, give the stated weapon 10% extra damage. There are lots of things that we're going to do here. All right. We're popping that one in there. Okay, so this one weapon is now also going to have a 35% chance to inflict flame on hit. Does that stack into one thing? No, it's a 25 and a 35. I wonder if they roll separately. Either way, we're also going to place you there. So now we're also gaining a whomping amount of ammo for every crew member on the ship, actually. And I guess at this point, that's where it would start mattering to have less high-ranking crew, but just more of them. But every 4.05 seconds, give this weapon 10% more damage. Is that mounting over time? Because I would be very much okay with that. And then we want this one over there. There we go. Our ship is sort of symmetrical. Not really, but it's getting there. Very, very slowly, but it is getting there. Oh, a supply crate. Now that does have some benefit for me. The officer, I think it would make more sense for me to have that officer upgrade them rather than stack more of them. Simply because I've got no other weapon system to benefit from that. That being said, stealing anything from the enemy ship is kind of nice. A burst 2, and it's a very small weapon too, so I could comfortably have it gaining a benefit here from multiple systems. Not quite as amazing as I would want it to be, but I definitely could have that in there. Still, there's something about having just a single type of weapon system. Again, I would have loved to have a better one, but we'll see how this goes. All right, I'm very much liking our starting stats here. The spikes are a little bit worrisome, but I'm not too terribly concerned right now. Managed to cloak there. The split is doing wonderful for us. Absolutely wonderfully. Though, wow, that missile did a lot of damage. All in one hit. Okay, let's have a quick look at the DPS list there. If we have a look at the damage, well, it doesn't really matter. We can see that. The Hull Smasher missile did 54 damage right by itself. And the spikes did 18 damage too. So that was definitely no slouch there. Definitely no slouch. But overall, that slug cannon did 50 healing. Pretty impressive, actually. Our gun healed us more than their actual healing systems. Actually, it healed us more than our healing systems too. In fact, I think that gun healed us more than their healing systems and my healing systems combined healing. Which is, I think we can all agree, kind of cool. All right, let's pop you in there. Let's upgrade that. Let's upgrade you again. All right, let's have a look now. This is costing 5. We are now at a point where I am not generating enough ammo, sadly. You would help with that. Oh, this one rotates as well. We can rotate it to change what it generates. Over here, gain 1 free shop reroll. Every 4.05 seconds, inflict 1 rust on the enemy ship. Every 2 seconds, take 1 damage for every rust on the ship. And rust cannot be removed. You cannot have a janitor remove rust. You can be resistant to it, but you can't remove it. Case in point, resistance there. But I think what we need... actually, how big is that? I guess I could take both. Let's pop that in. There we go. Is this a 2? It is a 2. Okay, I'm all right with that. 1 free shop reroll. Now, it does cost fuel, but we're producing fuel, so that shouldn't be a big problem for us. Let's go ahead and lock this in. What we got over here? Spike Factory. Oh. Costs 1 ammo and 1 fuel, but increasing... Oh, I think this is really good. However, let's have a look at you. Currently, your DPS is 6.97. Fire a mortar and gain... Oh, that one would gain firepower each time it fires. How frequently this? Every 7.43. Whereas this one is every 4.05. I think that one's more useful to me right now. I'm going to lock both of these in. We may have this one locked in for a little while. I am somewhat tempted. I mean, I wouldn't be against selling the old cogwheel. I think this is much more useful to me overall. Well, we'll see. We'll see how much rust does damage to the enemy ship in the next battle. But okay, let's see how this goes. Okay, you've got a lot of weapons. You've also got explosive rounds, which is not fantastical, but I am liking that we are already stacking up the rust on your ship. They have managed to put quite a lot of fire on ours, though. Ouch. Okay, that hurt a lot. Okay. They did a lot more damage dealt, ultimately. Fair enough. 26 projectile fires in the same time that I fired 5. Well, I was stunned for 3 seconds. Dear Lord. Okay. Yeah, okay. I do not feel that the cogwheel was doing me enough good there. What would this upgrade to? There's only a 35% chance to gain 3, not a higher chance to gain 2. That being said, I could maneuver a couple of things around. Okay, so first and foremost, popping that in there, moving you up. That gives me room enough to grab you. So we don't need to get rid of this, which I'm okay with. Alright. At this stage, we just need 3 down here. This armor removes 1 random debuff from the ship. No cost. Gains us a bit of extra resistance and increases our plating. Maybe that armor would be good just in a random spot like that. Sure. I could upgrade this, but it doesn't cost me anything. There's no loss. So I will lock that in place and then do our free reroll. Okay, this is a new item. I've previously discovered a bunch of items through the first couple of times I played. An autocannon array. Every 4.05 seconds fires a bullet. This item activates, increase the charge rate by 8. That, I'm going to say, would be very awkward to place. And I suspect would have to... Yeah, all of those spots would need to be free. But it's not impossible for me to place. It would not be impossible for me to place. I could keep that. I would have to move this down, and we would need to move quite a lot of people around. So I think I can no longer have that one locked in. And instead, I'm going to lock this hull piece in instead. Gives us a bit of a... Oh, actually, this is a lead hull. Right, so the mass, for every mass, your projectiles travel 15% slower. But it will give us some radiation resistance, which is quite nice. However, I think we're going to need that in order to make this fit. Otherwise, we've got too many components. We were symmetrical for such a short amount of time. It pains me greatly to say goodbye to it all. Truly. Can I afford to rotate you around? No. I would lose my ammo if I did that. And I'd rather keep it. We could have 2. thinking about it, though. How does this upgrade? A reasonable amount. But it does cost me ship health to use, so I don't think we want a second one. No, I think we're just going to keep what we've locked in there. I've got an extra reroll, so I might as well. That is a chopper. Feed non-crew, create a number of rust nuggets. Oh, yeah, no, that's not happening. A torpedo bay. The inserted ammo is applied to all of your projectiles. Oh, sorry. It looks like ammo items placed into like gems from backpack battles could be placed into that. We've also got a nuclear warhead. Fantastic. Okay, we've got a lot of interesting things here. Nowhere near enough room for it, but this is very nice to have. I am going to lock that in. I'm not going to be able to afford hardly any of this. However, this is free healing, so I will lock that as well. I know, but I've got an extra reroll, so it kind of counterbalances a little bit. Okay, someone else. That is an ammo item right there. Though usually you would need to apply it to something. You've got to place it into a weapon for it to work. I think the player didn't quite understand how that functions. You add it to an item like a gem, like a socket. Okay, we've still got 5 battles to go, and we've got a little bit over half the health left to do it in. I think we should be able to manage this. Okay, so first and foremost, let's redesign this. Can I place this down? No, I can't. Can I slide all of this up? I might have to make a much more dramatic redesign, sadly. But this should now fit down there. It should effectively recenter the ship. So, I would very much like this. There we are. Now, does everything activate it? Yes, it does. Okay, let's have a look at this. That damage is now 10.55 per second. Cooldown is 2.96 seconds. Crit chance is 33. This item activates. Increase the charge rate by 8%. Okay. Now, to get you into this as well, I'm probably going to have to sacrifice something, because I think that is a 4. It is. Okay, the cogwheel, glorious though you are, I don't think you're right for us anymore. I will be picking that up. I'm also tempted to pick this up. I would get more out of this by having this plate just freestanding. But to fit everything else in here is going to be a real potch. If I could sell that for 3, it would give me enough to buy this, which I can then position down here. I would love it to be a different way around, but I guess, you know, if wishes were horses, beggars would ride. So we'll just have to accept what we've got. Let's pop you in there. I can, technically speaking, have the gun firing backwards, but that would feel very stupid, so let's not. But is there a way? Well, that would affect you. That would catch you. This one would, you know what? It does actually make the most sense to have it there. I know it sucks, but this is what peak performance looks like, sadly. Right, we are still pulling 7.58 on this, but we are now really draining our ammo. That is not something that we can sustain for long at all. To the point, I'm almost tempted to say goodbye to that. Yeah, it's costing me 5 ammo, whereas this is only costing me 3. Yeah, let's just take it off. We'll just keep it in reserve for now. Let's re-roll and see if anything truly magnificent. Ah, there we go. We've got ammo. All right. Might be tempted to sell this now. That would further increase our weapon system. But what really matters here is the fact that this torpedo, we could add in incendiary rounds. Anything inserted in this is applied to all of my projectiles. Or we could go for magnetic rounds. So my weapons would gain better lifelink, or I could place it on the ship and gain 6 ammo. Oh, perhaps I was incorrect about the rounds before. When I hovered over them, I didn't say a placed on ship gain, but perhaps I just wasn't looking correctly. My bad. I clearly hadn't. I was the one that didn't understand it. Weapons gain 100% chance to inflict 1 fire on hit with the incendiary rounds. I think it is time for us to say goodbye to you. So goodbye. And we could afford. I can only afford 1. Or rather, I can only put 1 in there. Can I put? How many can I place in there? I can place quite a lot. Honestly, I don't actually need the torpedo. I've got a single gun. I would like to get more, but I don't yet have more. So we're just going to have to make do. %50 lifelink, sure. And very high chance of causing a flame. Wouldn't mind upgrading this if I could. So let's lock that as well. If we get a second weapon, then having this is going to be amazing. If not, it's not a big deal. Really. Okay, a SAM launch. Okay, it's got 4 activation points, or 4 highlighted locations around it. Every 10.8 seconds fires a missile, but whenever an item in its the 4 orthogonal quadrants activates, it charges the item by 25. So if you have 4 fast triggering items, this thing will fire a lot. And if I really want to, I can fit it on the ship. If I really, really want to. I would have to lock a couple of things in, though, for it. Yeah, we'll keep these locked. Okay. We'll see how this goes. We're going to be generating an awful lot of munitions. Actually, I should change that one from ammo to something else. We don't need it to be stacking that much damage that quickly. I mean, it's nice to have, granted. Oh, good God. So yeah, no, that worked quite well. I was caught just lamenting that I was misallocating my resources, and while I was faffing about that, we demolished the enemy. Okay. The spikes did a solid bit of damage. Quite happy with that, though. Obviously, the autocannon rate did 140 damage and healed for 124. It appears that stacking everything onto one gun is not as bad as it first appeared. Okay. I like this. Sure, we'll keep going with that. Okay. We've got a gunner who, let's have a look at you. Every 6.75 seconds gains 2 ammo, and the weapon gains more split chance. All right. We definitely have a redesign to do. So give me a few moments to move things around. Okay. That is mostly refit. I do have one thing that I can't quite fit back on. The symmetry has gone out the window now. This is, well, it isn't really broadside. This is very much where all of our weapons are forward facing, but I think you can't argue with the how cool those weapons are. This is being triggered by a 5.4 second, a 4.3 second, a 7.43 second, which is unfortunate, and another 6.3. Would that get any better? No, it would not, sadly. All right, we want to use up our rerolls, so let's see what we can get. Another one of these wouldn't be a terrible. Oh, actually, we've got quite a few that are quite good. This would work to allow me to refit this. I will lock that in place. This one isn't... Well, actually, no. That one's probably the best of the lot that I could lock in. Now we're seeing a lot of things showing up that could potentially be really, really nice for us. that one I will lock in. I'm not going to lock all of these things in. That's good enough, I think, for now. Right, let's go ahead and start the battle. I am expecting great things, though. Before we do, let's go ahead and rotate you. I would like to start stocking our fuel again, please and thank you, especially since this is going to start drinking it. Okay, overall, all of our resources are being gained. Bullets are very, very good position right now. The only problem with this is it's going to be incredibly unlikely we're going to find another one of these to level this up, but yeah, I guess we can but hope. There are ways of getting upgrade modules that will in turn upgrade anything you plug them into. Good God. Well, I apologize for deleting you out of existence. Only slightly, though. 98 damage came from the SAM launcher. The autocannon array did 66. As both the SAM launcher and the autocannon array were healing us. We did quite a decent chunk of damage from fire, a paltry amount from healing. Our spike factory gave us some armor, and our janitor did a little bit of healing as well. Very nice indeed. Okay, not bad, not bad. Now, feed items, it could get rust nuggets. That's not what we're looking for. Not what we're looking for right now. Is there a way to flip these? I don't believe there is. I might be wrong about that, though. It looks very odd to put it up there, so I should place it down there instead. There we go. And now you can be re-affixed. All right, the officer. Where is the officer that we have? Right there. All right, the officer is currently upgrading this. I mean, considering how much damage that does, it's better to put that officer on the highest single damage item we have. Now let's upgrade you. At this stage, I could afford to take you and get a lot of different resources gaining very nicely. We've got an upgraded... How would that even work? Okay, it doesn't upgrade in any particular way. A swarm launcher. Another item that fires quickly. Oh, rather it fires 4 different missiles. I don't think we're going for that, though. We'll lock you. There we go. Since we've lost the free reroll, we now only have 1, sadly, but that should be fine. So, for the most part, we are now looking for things that upgrade what we've already built. Though I will have 2 of those. I don't see a reason to upgrade the single one we have. And yeah, they've been deleted. Not too bad. 114 damage from the SAM launcher. Yeah, the SAM launcher is very quickly overtaken the autocannon array in terms of its overall damage output. You've got all sorts of information available as well, which I very much like at the end of a battle for you to make decisions on which components are doing a particularly good job. Ooh. And are also very ooh. So, items placed on top gain 1 extra damage for free. But yeah, that wouldn't read well. I might be able to fit some parts in there to make that work, but I don't really think it's that much of an important one for us. This one makes more sense to have 2 of them, because if I upgrade it, it doesn't give me twice as much out of it. Unless I had something that was buffing it in some way, like making this one charge that little bit faster, then that would make some sense. We're going to pop you in there. We're going to go for you. And once again, you're just going to be left. One day it'll happen. Aha. Okay, so we've got a transport pad every 2 battles. This will just This will salmon a random crew member, and salmon uses a verb in this context means that the crew member is going to swim up the cosmic stream to its original spawning location and lay more crew member eggs. It's a very beautiful circle of life kind of thing, trust me. But we have got explosive rounds. Okay, gains 25% damage and stuns the enemy ship. Let's pop that one in here. This way. Both of these are getting that effect now. That is very, very good. This down here, battle begins, inflicts 2 hacking upon the enemy ship, and every 4.05 seconds removes 2 radar from the enemy ship. Hacking, non-crew members activate, item activates, there's a 10% chance to take 3 damage. But that one's actually a really awkward one to place. I could place it there, but that's about the only place I could put it. So I would need somewhere else to equip that one, but I will lock it in. All right, let's see how this goes. We're about to do quite a lot of stunning effect. They've got a decent bit of armor there. We were both cloaked right from the beginning. Interesting start. They have recloaked, I think. Yeah, they killed themselves on our spikes, I believe. Wow, they drain. They are all about just going for the kill as fast as possible. That resource loss there is wild. They did more damage. Yeah, the autocannon array was firing super fast, but again, like ultimately killed itself on our spikes. Very, very interesting. If we have a look at the combat log towards the end, I want to see how that panned out. Yeah, bunch of spike damage, just constantly taking spike damage. If we minimize this, we can... Oh, I can't actually have a look at it. Never mind. I would have liked to have seen the ship again. But oh well. Right. Well, I can upgrade this. Get us even more resources coming in if I super wanted to. But what I really, really want... ooh. Well, I wouldn't say no. I think at this point, it's fair to say... that all pretense of symmetry have gone out the window. However, I can fit you there. I can fit you there, even though these are not the right things to place in this location, realistically speaking. This would be a much better location for any stray crew members I have. For example, well, actually, the janitor's already in a good place. Never mind. We don't really actually... we don't even have any stray crew members. Fair enough. Alright, I'm going to put in a hacking station there. Is it time for you to get an upgrade? Yes, it is. It is finally time for it to happen. There you go. I can't afford that anymore. That's okay. I guess I don't need you, though. Never mind. I can afford you. You know, let's end with more resources than we could ever possibly want. A hard point can only have items placed on it, but items on top gain 2 extra damage. That one is fantastically great. Okay, you're just this. What's going to happen to me in a few moments? It's going to be diabolical. That's why I'm being given this elation here, because I'm never going to get to spend money on getting these things. That's how this works. I've learned how life works. Every 8.1 seconds, gain 2 radar and inflict an extra 2 hack on the opponent. Very nice. But I don't think we're going to be using this, if I'm perfectly honest. I'll lock it in anyway. I can't see that being something that we use at this point. We have got all of the ammo and the fuel forever. And we immediately cloak. Oh, we've been poisoned quite badly. Oh, never mind, they're dead. I didn't see their ship. I saw a drill. There was a drill somewhere. And I got some... Hey, I got some ranks. Get 10 wins in a single run. Win 15 battles. Very nice. Now, we can go into endless mode. But understand, the thing about these kinds of games is if you go into endless mode, everyone else there is going to be someone who won the game. So you're only going to be, like, up until now, you might be the big fish in the pond, and you're feeling pretty confident with yourself. But the moment you go into endless mode, that's only populated with the big fish, and you might be the smallest of the big fish. So This is where egos go to die. It's like university. You might have been the smartest person in your high school, but when you went to university, the only people who went there were also the smarter people in their relative high school. So now you're you're no longer the big fish. Again, it's where egos go to die. Let's go to endless mode though, of course, because my ego needs to be kept in check. Plus, boom, there we go. That is some very nice damage now. We also have a radar dome. Battle begins. Apply -2 damage to all enemy weapon systems. That is very nice. I would much like to get it. Gonna lock that, not gonna lock you. And we're gonna re-roll, looking for... Why is all of this stuff so good? The tri-cannon. Every 6.75 seconds, fire a mortar. No, we're not looking for new weapon systems. What we are trying to do... well, actually, if I place that there, I'm going to break the thruster, sadly. Is there anyone else on this ship that would be able to accommodate that? Not that I can easily see. That being said, I could now move that up there, move you there, you down. I almost have enough room, but not quite. And, well, we'll keep this one for now, but I want that. That one is a given. We desperately want that one. Okay. Let's begin the next battle. I'm actually losing ammo now. How peculiar. We've actually got room there. Fantastic. All right. Well, in that case, we need to rotate this around to ammo resupply. All right. Let's begin the battle. Now, they started with a lot of armor. We've also been hacked. Now, we don't activate things nearly as much. Like, we've gone for quality over quantity, so hacking is going to be a little bit less effective against us. We're obviously going to pick you up. There we go. A lot of things in here, very tempting, but no. This is a spiked hull. It just gives us spikes, but it would be so perfect to place this there. So perfect. That is a... Actually, we probably could too. Feed non-crew members in to get a random item of a higher rarity. That is very tempting. Alright, I'm going to have to do some rejigging. Okay, rejigging complete. That was not as rough as I was expecting it to be. I need 1 tile to fill that gap there. 2 tiles over here, but unfortunately our ship is turning into a brick. I don't know how this happened. I would like it to stop. You know what? Let's put... Oh, that is not what I meant to do. But let's put the hacking component at the top. There we go. Oh. Oh, no, we can't. Okay. It does actually have to be completely free. Okay, fair enough. Today I learned. Okay, let's see what we're up against next. I do have room to grab 1 item. I could have locked in the cogwheel. Oh, wow, they've got a lot of armor there. They're doing quite a lot of damage to me, but we are absolutely demolishing them. My God. Let's have a look at the DPS list there. Yeah, the SAM launcher did the bulk of that damage, though they did a decent chunk back to me in spike damage, to be fair. Okay, not too bad, though I did notice their ion rifle did a fair bit as well. Okay, we've got hardened plate. Ship hit by projectile, 40% chance to stun the enemy ship. I see no reason not to take it. Also, heavy rounds. Deals 40% damage and removes 2 spikes on hit, but we will gain heavy. Would we gain heavy twice? No, we would only gain it once. So putting it there makes a lot of sense because I'm getting the most bang for buck out of that now. Popping that. You know, I'm going to place this down here. Let's go for the weapon that fires a bit more frequently. This one has a 2.76 second cooldown. This one much slower. We can pop an extra one in there. For now, we will. Another heavy rounds. Okay. Another torpedo bay. My lord. Again, though, the torpedo bay, I would want multiple torpedo bays to get the most out of this. Let's lock those in. And we'll go ahead and apply that one straight. We are immediately going to cloak. The problem is it's going to consume... Well, does it consume 10 or does it consume everything? I guess we'll find out. But I'm going to need one more tile. We've seen single tile pieces of hull. At that point, all of these will be merged. And I'll place down the new torpedo bay and pop in probably the stun rounds. That being said, we could also put that in again. And for the sake of one extra heavy, both of our weapon systems will gain another 40% damage. Basically, spikes will stop being a thing that enemies can use against us with that. Okay, let's see how this goes. Quite well, it seems. Not bad at all. I don't think we're... Oh, actually, no, we are gaining a little bit in our rank. That's actually pretty cool. All right. The autocannon array healed us for 156. That's you. Did they actually do any damage? Surely they did some damage. Wait, we cloaked right at the beginning. And the battle didn't last long enough for them to get off another... Oh my lord. Really? They got one hit. That's all they got. They were dead before they were able to reload. Pretty impressive, actually. Okay, well, obviously we're going to be upgrading you. Now, that is going to cost an extra bit of ammo, but item increases the... This item activates increased charge rate by 16%. On everything? I mean, our ammo's still doing pretty solidly. I could merge that, but I won't. I'm just going to buy it. I would like to use magnetic rounds there. I would like to buy those, but we're going to wait on it. There we go. Wow, okay. In that case, let's merge these in. Pop you up. That one is locked in. What have we got here? This is... removes a random buff from the enemy ship on hit. Very nice. And gains 75% chance to inflict one toxin on hit. That may actually be better in this than you. Though, that being said, you do actually launch missiles a little bit more frequently. This is a tricky one. Which one would I prefer? I mean, ultimately, I've got enough room for all of them. So I could quite reasonably lock every single thing in. I wonder if we can merge them. We cannot. That is a shame. That would have been amazing. If you could merge them like gems in backpack battles, that would have been absolutely fantastic. Extra magnetic rounds. Okay, you've got a lot of armor there. That is a staggering amount of armor. We have gotten through it, but that was a lot. They are stacking rust on us, which is doing damage to me. A lot of damage, actually. Oh, that came down to the wire a little bit. Or at least as down to the wire as we've seen for a while. They did 385 damage. They restored 298. They gained 46 armor, a little bit less than mine, and fired a few more projectiles than me. They were stunned for a little bit longer, but not super long, to be fair. Let's have a look at this. Yeah, fire. 48 fire was stacked up. Wow. Very impressive. Terrifyingly impressive, in fact. Every 2 battles summons a random ammo. Whenever a linked item activates, chance to get... Wow, okay. That is extremely interesting. Where would I put it? I'm not at all sure. Let's just keep pushing for stronger weapons. I do like that on this particular weapon because it fires faster and fires more. Let's pop you there. I would love that. And I guess I could. Well, no, I don't have the right weapon profile for that. Let's unlock this, but I think I'm going to lock you. The next... Oh, there we go. The next opportunity, I was about to say, to pop you on the ship is one I will take. But I do need to pick a good spot for you. That doesn't really activate. You do. You do. It'd probably not be best there because two parts of the activation are coming from the same item, and I think it'll only ever care about one thing activating at a time. Maybe there, though. But if I put it there, I would lose this activating. That being said, I can move them around. Janitor could go over here, perhaps. If I pop this there, I can move you up. Janitor can move over there. This triggers... Well, actually, no, that doesn't trigger. No, that isn't the best place for it. Neither does that. This triggers, you trigger, that triggers. Might be the best place would be here. I can still have that in this location. Speed that up. Yeah, we'll lock these in since these are all upgrades for me. In some way or another. We're actually breaking even on ammo consumption now, so I will actually need these to help out with that a little bit. Okay. Nice and quiet there. Oh, they are stacking the poison on my ship, though. Never mind. And it is wonderful when the SAM launcher gets a split. Okay. And 15 wins daily. Got more stuns. Also have that as well. Low caliber rounds. Gains 30% charge rate and plus 30% projectile speed, but loses some damage. Does that bother me? Oh my lord, I did not realize. This activates on a lot of different things. Never mind. That is kind of amazing. I think I would prefer to move these around a little bit. Have you get even more chance of causing a stun. The lifelink I prefer to have. I could actually take it all the way up to 100% lifelink, thinking about it. Do I really need it, though? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no on that one. Let's lock that in. And reroll. Let's lock these. We've now got a combat medic. Every 7.43 seconds, it restores 8 health on the ship. And CPR. When the ship falls below 20% hit points, it activates whatever item is in front of it twice. That would be incredibly useful right there. Can't quite see what that component is there, but I think that would be the best place for the medic ultimately. Move that down a little bit. Yeah, we're going to lock them in. That would even... Well, no. This removes 4 random debuffs on my ship every 7.43 seconds. And what would it get up to? 5. Yeah, I would need more room on the ship somewhere. I'd move you down. Probably take that off for a little bit just to have them board the ship for now. I was not expecting this round to be so successful. I'm going to be honest. This is easily the most successful one that I've had. I'm glad you're here to share it with me. I do love the fact you've got the wings in the right position on your ship. If I win, it is not because my ship was the better looking. That's for certain. Very good fight there. Let's have a look at the DPS list. Good lord. They nuked me for only 100. That was the most damage they did was 102. My autocannon rated 690. Sorry, 660. What am I talking about? Their combat medic did a lot though. They had a lot of healing going on there. Very good amount of healing. That combat medic, quite potent it seems. Exceedingly potent. Okay. Sure. Let's have you in position over there. With that in mind, this can move up. You can go down. Combat medic can trigger the SAM. And having another combat medic behind this combat medic, that could potentially be broken in the best way. And now I've got more room. I'm going to stop stacking these, and I want them to be individually placed. Locking you, obviously. Ooh, what's this type of ammo? Gains 1 split. That is absolutely going to take the place of something here. Don't know what I'm going to give up for it. But having a guaranteed split... Oh, actually, no, the guaranteed split would be better here, realistically. Maybe move one of the stuns away. Oh, oh, never mind. What am I talking about? I need that to be here. Duh. Locking you in as well. But that is going to be absolutely ridiculously good. I'm going to miss the extra damage, but I mean, the split is just perfect. Everything will gain 1 extra second, but I think that's okay. And occasionally, they're going to get... I wonder if the split is... Well, I guess additive or multiplicative in a way. If a weapon that has 1 split guaranteed and rolls a 25% chance for a split will simply turn 1 bullet into 3, or will split its first bullet into 2, and then both of those will split into 4. That could get very busted very quickly, and I very much hope that this is a game that allows for that level of bustedness, frankly. Their fuel and ion drain very sharply. Ouch. They won. They won at full health, no less. Wow. We had 4 radiation on us. That is rough. They restored 635 in that time. Well played, indeed. Tri-Cannon did 251. Nuclear Warhead did 107. The Tri-Cannon healed for 372. I wonder if you can overheal. Oh, that's something I hadn't considered. Oh, thank you very much. Dampener rounds. I wonder if you can overheal. We'll see. But we're popping the splitter rounds in there. Dropping that. Let's get... Well, actually, let's have a look. Do you benefit from anything? 20% split chance. Is there any way? Doesn't quite reach. That would, but this would no longer reach. I would very much like to have you be able to apply that effect. Oh, I mean, I could move the combat medic, actually. Thinking about it. What would be a better thing to activate, though? If life is getting low. I'm not entirely sure. Do you improve the split chance when you upgrade? You do. Alright, let's just pop you in there then. Right, you can go in. I wouldn't mind grabbing this. Every 2 battles, summon a random crew member. Can I sell these for enough? I can. I've basically got a money generator going on right now. Yes. All right. That's not bad at all. You know what? Now I realize if we'd gone now that much earlier, we'd have our crew members all much higher level. But in addition to that, potentially we would have been able to sell some of them. I mean, you know, end their contract and return them to the workforce. You don't sell people. No. Okay, that was a lot of missiles launched. They are multiplicative. Though I have run out of ammo. Good lord, how did that happen? But it is multiplicative. Can't quite believe that we ran out of ammo that hard. Egads. The vitality capsule? Oh, they got a very high ranked item there. Okay. Well, wouldn't mind getting you upgraded there. We could probably afford to place this over here. I mean, I really would prefer you two to be facing one another, but that's fine. Let's roll and see if we can't find someone else. There's we go, another combat medic. That is ideal. Combat medic, each facing one another. Let's upgrade that. Do I need the fuel right now? Not really. What I need is ammo, it feels like. Okay. We've got a couple more spots. Some more combat medics would be ideal. I wonder what they activate. I think it's just that they restore 8%. I mean, 8% is 8%, not 8. So, but it would be kind of amazing if when they activate, they trigger the other ones activating the other thing twice. That being said, that would create an infinite loop. That would be super broken. Again, in the best possible way. But that's the sort of thing that when they discover it, a dev has to remove because it just breaks the game. Okay. Came out of cloak just at the wrong moment, unfortunately, there. Okay. Want to see some healing going on, please? Oh, no. Okay, yeah, we were facing the strongest at this point. Rip. That being said, though, we made it all the way up into gold. Fantastic. We're only a little bit beneath Dareth Rain. They healed an enormous amount, but we healed more, but they just dealt more. 52 projectiles fired. They fired way faster than us. We were both stunned for about the same time, though. Very interesting. Their autocannon array, 183. Their hacking did 175, though. We had 9 hack on us. We really needed a better way of removing those. Some more armor plates apart, distributed around the ship. More janitors probably would have been the way to go. But that is going to be it for this first taste of Down with the Ship. Now, if you've managed to get all the way through the video to this point, well, thank you very much for keeping me company. I hope you had as much fun watching me play this as you will hopefully have playing it yourself. Again, this is a demo, and if you do grab the demo and enjoy it, then consider wishlisting it. That is worth more than gold to developers these days in getting their games noticed on Steam. But that is going to be it for me for now. So until next time, and as always, do take care, everyone.